Okay, folks, good evening. And welcome to our next episode of Trifactor Podcast, where we have a very distinguished guest with us. Yeah, Mr. Marcus Bailey. We'll get to that shortly. I don't know, pardon my tardiness, gentlemen, but today is a very auspicious day. We just want to wish Mr. Prescott all the best on his birth anniversary. We also want to commend him on his commitment. Yeah. You want to commend him on his dedication because, he could have been doing any number of things at this moment, at any point in time. But he is here with us right now. So we really appreciate it, right?
Yeah, I can't miss
it's going to be a wonderful...
Happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday.
Yeah. You can't miss it. And we have a good guest too. So, this could be like a gift here because this man...
This is the gift?
...has been described. But I didn't say this is the gift. This is a wonderful opportunity. You decide whatever gift you want it to be, right? This man has been described when the contact was made. The person put me on him, described him as one of the most winningest persons ever, right?
Okay.
So, yeah.
The Trini Alex Ferguson.
Lord.
I didn't say that, but the man don't pull himself out already. But in his football career, he has won 16 titles in 21 years, I believe, Marcus. Was it?
20. 16 and 20.
16 and 20, right? Which is pretty impressive if I do say so myself.
Is better than Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, by all means. Right, I'm not saying no.
Well, it's our levels to this, right?
For sure,
right? He's also the holder of multiple records at the collegiate level as well as a coach. So given our past discussions and everything else, and the general premise of this, I believe Mr. Marcus Bailey would be a wonderful guest for us to have tonight. So welcome, Marcus. Trinidad is still a small place. There's only 1.8 million of us, and we're very, very unique, I believe. I believe you should have a familiarity with Mr. Jose Julian, because some people are just put together like that. I tell him, you see, when I tell him, he say he family does. Father name does call him Suki. Yeah, he say I feel I know that man. You know what I mean? So that's how wonderful it is. Right? Yeah. So again, welcome to the show, Marcus. Glad to have you and glad that you're taking the time out.
A pleasure to be here, brothers. When Andy told me about you guys podcast and he wanted me to come on, I was just open. I'm just happy to chop it up with other brothers from the soil, and even though I might be out here for the last 21 years, I'm a Trinity to the core at the root. So,
sure. And Trinity transplant does call all I think.
That is correct.
Yeah. Trinity transplant, so definitely. And I'd also like to take this opportunity, you will hear it eventually, but thanks to Mr. Solandi for linking us with his guest. He also had a suggestion. He wanted, when you come on, he wanted it to have a call-in segment. I don't know why, but we have the technology right now, right? So we'll look at that sometime down the road there, but I sense it will be wonderful. Right? So,
all right.
So, Mr. Bailey, let's hear about your football history. Starting from your origin.
So do you mind if I take it away?
Is that Southman thing?
Go ahead.
Run through now, say. You know the man
family. The first 5 questions. No, I like to ask the
man. That is no problem.
First 5 questions. So for me,
that because
right now, where Trinidad is, right? I would like to know your first interaction with football. Who introduced you to the sport, and at about what age was it?
Well, obviously, the first person introduced me to the sport was my father. He's a point man from Tisha Village, 10th Street. Tisha Village. He was a former Trinidad and Tobago international. He played with he played Leon Carpet and Stedman and all these guys from the South. You know, and as a youth growing up, he introduced me to the game, and once he put the ball in on my hand and then eventually onto my feet, you know, it was a wrap. You know?
Yeah.
Right. So your first memory of football, or when you found that you fell in love with it after he introduced it to you, when do you remember falling in love with the game?
Well, bro, to be honest with you, and it kind of emotional kind of vibe, because you know, the first person who gave me that imagery and a beauty for the game, I remember as a little boy in Marabella, Batu Avenue, Marabella, Mexico 86, Diego Maradona just, you know, dominate a tournament. Up to this day, I never see anybody dominate one tournament like that, you know, and that's when I fell in love with the game, you know, the greater Diego Armando Maradona.
I could just interject right here. I noticed something with these Southman, Andre. You notice that? You asked him about the first memory about football, like catch your year with World Cup. It was thing, the game take like see the exact same thing.
That's how it does go. It's always a memory imprinted right there.
There's only one creative writing teacher and you hold us out of. Wait on it. Alright, continue as you.
Right. So we'll continue along. You played any football in primary school, any in secondary school? When is your first competitive game that you remember, or things like that?
The first competitive game I remember, I used to go to a school named San Fernando Boys Government.
Yeah.
And we had a coach named Mr. Roll Amy.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if you know Amy. Just walk around with her afro, he kind of detangle now. Yeah, he out there, but he was the man. He was a principal, a very educated man, I might say.
Right.
You know, but he was my first coach. You know, at the primary school level, and then I went off to secondary school to Pleasantville, junior secondary, and then Pleasantville senior, and that's where I met Leon Carpet and a guy named Pat Small, both national players also, and that's when my game really took off, went to another level.
All right.
Before I came to college.
So if you were to describe yourself as a young player, how would you do that? What position did you play, etc.?
Well, I was a typical number 9 early on in my career.
Okay.
You know, I'm the type of guy who used to get behind the defense and finish plays in the box. But what I was told, I was told I was a speed merchant. That was the description.
That's very important.
And you know, I scored a lot of goals running past people. That was my dodging men like Cone. They used to call me Cone Man too, and Toolkit. They used to call me Cone Man and Toolkit. That was my nicknames back then.
That means you had the spanner.
Real spanner.
What? My spanner was never rusty. I was telling Andy he might have a spanner, but my spanner was never rusty. Right or left.
Who's your real spanner king, though? Who's your real spanner king?
That's right.
You gotta get Andy on here early. Yeah.
Yeah, that. Watch me. Here I show you. And I convinced by this. The spanner deserve recognition as the national beater Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, no, for real.
So serious, you can say what, right? But the spanner deserve recognition as the national beater Trinidad and Tobago. I know it's almost undisputed. I think.
My final question at the first round, right? So speed motion. What was your best achievement at the secondary school level? And what were your memories of the secondary school level in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, my best achievement was I was on the only Pleasantville senior comprehensive team to ever win South Zone up to this day. And I was the captain, and you know, we had the opportunity to play against some of the big boys in the country at that time. You know, I remember playing Anna Dwarika in the Big Five. Playing Dwarika them in the Big Five final.
As with Malik.
That is a drag queen, eh? You see?
Yeah.
That is a drag queen.
Careful.
Yeah. Oh, see,
Yeah,
I don't know if you know a man named Kevin Oliveira. I don't know if you know a red man named Kevin Oliveira down south.
We talking about Ollie?
Ollie.
That's smart, man. Who don't know Ollie?
well, Ollie got a red card for that. Ollie was supposed to be playing in that game, and we didn't play in that game. He got a red card against Belmont. The game before. I think he kicked away Darren Lewis and got a red card.
Like
we miss him in that game, but we miss him.
Yeah.
Dwarika was something different. He was an alien.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Disgusting job. Disgusting job.
Who are they, Andre? Who are the next five?
Andre.
Hold on, so I missed all kind of thing, but so you played Dwarika, you say?
Huh?
No, he played
against Dwarika.
I played against Anna Dwarika. Yeah.
So is he the best? School. Is he the best Trini player you play against?
The best Trini player I play against. Boy. That's a different kind of one there, man.
You see what you picking the answer? They looking for a South man to push in that. Them South people and them bias. Real bias, eh? So he looking for a South man to pick there. You don't want to get a North man that pips. What chance he?
If I was to I get no North man, I get that East man. The best player I play against from Trinidad is Stone John.
Okay, that was your time, man.
I watch my son living a stone throw away from me. So big up Stone.
You see?
All right.
And they're fighting the man.
We good now.
No, if I didn't call him out, you would not do it though. If I didn't call him out, you would not do it.
I wanted to be honest, man. I wanted to be honest. I wanted to be Torah.
Yeah. You had to go through the archives. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I think so did you get a scholarship to play in the US? You was playing in school in the US in college.
Well, I know if only have 5 minutes, but it's a story. It's a story.
That what we here for. If watch me, there's therapy for these guys here too. So don't worry, we have time. We have time.
Well. You know, back in the 90s, in the 90s, when dancehall was born to kill Beanie Man, Terra Fabulous, the whole nine. You know, I really wasn't much into my education. I was into playing ball and girls. I'll be honest with you. You know, I was into playing ball and girls, and I didn't take my education as seriously as I know I should have taken it today. You know, and it took my younger brother. I was telling Zwadi this prior to this get together that it took my younger brother, his name is Joel Bailey. He got secondary school football of the year in '99, playing for Naparima College, and within the blink of an eye, we were in a national U23 that national U23 camp, and 1 week after my brother was in America, and I was still down here, and I remember my father used to come at me in a kind of disrespectful kind of level, you know. You're the oldest one, and your younger brother has to show you how to do this. You know how it go. You know how it go into the dad. And yeah. We used to have some serious falling out, brother. So it reached a point now where I just decided, you know what? I go get my own money. I start to work for a company called Cable up in Point Lisas, where ISPAT used to be ISPAT, Caribbean ISPAT.
Yes.
Yeah. And
you know it's a real salt man when you say up Point Lisas, not down.
That's right.
And you really sure there?
That's right. You know what you're talking about.
Good.
And I put some dollars together. My father helped me out. I wrote my SATs. I got a decent score, but I didn't have the CXC qualifications. I had two. Only had two subjects. Actually, I had three because I eventually barely get math. I never get three. and Ruskin Mark. I don't know if you guys know Ruskin Mark.
Yeah, you know Ruskin Mark. Yeah, you know Ruskin Mark.
Yeah, that guy was a real fan of mine. He used to follow up my games when I was playing in club soccer. He used to follow all my games in club soccer. He used to tell me I was the most prolific non-professional player in Trinidad. That's what he used to tell me.
Yeah.
So he ended up telling me about a guy coming to Serpentine Road, St. Mary's, on a New Year's Day, boss. I remember that clear as day.
When I used to have the Columbines and the Combines and truth. They always used to have a Christmas time.
Yeah, not right. Combine.
Combine, yeah. Sorry. Again, excuse me. Combine.
I didn't want to say that there when you said that Columbine talk, but I'll leave it out. No. I didn't want to say that. But we go combine it though. We go combine it.
Yeah. Combine.
We go combine it. Yeah, but Ruskin hit me up. He tell me, yo, a guy named Hannibal Najjar, he coming down to Serpentine Road, he looking for players and da. And I really wasn't planning to go to that because it had a multiplicity at times. College coaches come to Trinidad, they see me play, they offer me a scholarship, but when they see my grades and my qualifications, they say, well, nah, this not going to work, brother. You go sit down. But Hannibal come, I reached late. I remember that I reached late. I'll show up at halftime. He was angry. Hannibal was angry. Ruskin Mark was angry. Them time I was a little rude boy. I had gold teeth in my mouth. Diamond cut everything. The whole 9 yards. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hannibal say, get on the field. Colonial kind of thing now. Yeah. Get on the field. Because I'm late. Anyway, I went on the field. In 15 minutes, he takes off because in them 15 minutes, I score 5. You need to see more.
Yeah, you need to see no more.
Yeah, he say you need to see no more. Score 5 in that 15. And then Ruskin was like, that's what I'm telling you about. I keep telling you.
Yeah.
He made a promise to me. I told him my previous engagements with other coaches and, they let down and me really want to get to hear all the talk unless you could come through now. And the man, he made a promise to me. He made a vow, actually. And I don't know how we do it, boss, but the same way there's a will, there's a way. He finds some loopholes and some technicalities in the NCAA. And I came to the US as what we call a partial qualifier. So I went to the US as a partial qualifier.
Never hear about it.
And basically, what partial qualifier is, you get registered to the university. The university accepts you, but you can't play any NCAA sports until you're on ground for 1 year at the university and you attain 24 credits.
Is that like redshirting?
It's similar. Redshirt is with injuries, though.
Okay.
Redshirting has to do with injuries.
Okay.
So basically I had to go to St. Louis, sit out a year. Well, not sit out a year. Stay on ground, on campus for a year. Study, make sure I pass all 24 credits to make myself eligible for college sports. And I went there. The first year was a difficult year, brother. Straight up, me never know about snow. Me never know about winter and man, me go up there with no coat and wind blowing to your body like an ultrasonic dread, like an ultrasonic.
You had any family and thing up there or no?
No star, no family. Me myself and I.
Yeah, that was making it real hard there for real.
That's tough.
Yeah, I had a friend. I had a homeboy who came up with Hannibal, named Coach Spencer. He played for St. Benedict's College. Coach Spencer and Dwight DeLeon. And another Eastman named Andrew Posad. Andrew Posad who went to El Dorado too.
Okay.
He was a Mickey Mouse player. Anyway, you might know about him, Swadi.
Yeah.
But Hannibal lost his job, brother, at the end of that year. When I supposed to attain a scholarship, I get my credits. I ready to play. This man comes to me with the eye red, snot in his nose, crying, and it was real emotional because he was a good man. He is still a good man. I'm very close to him still. Very, very close to him. And again, he kept a vow to me. He said, I'm going to get you into a proper program. You're not going to waste your talent. And I don't know how we do it. Somehow, some way, he get me into a school called Yavapai College. And
sorry, say that again?
He get me into a college called Yavapai College.
Yavapai
College.
I want to see you spell none of that.
And if you look up Yavapai College, they are like one of the top 10 soccer universities or colleges in America. They won the national championship 7 times. Kelvin Jack, 2006 national goalkeeper in the World Cup.
Yeah.
He played there. Avery Judd, man who kicked with the Swedish man.
Yeah.
First World Cup game. He played there.
Yeah, he from South too.
Yeah. Kevin Jeffrey played there. Another Eastman. So it's a place with a huge history to that players. So I had to go there and maintain them. Maintain.
In Arizona, right?
That's where the journey began, brother. That's where the journey began for me.
Right. All right. So, I mean, let me fast forward a little bit. So you finish your playing career. So how you get into coaching?
Well, I was telling Zwade again, national championship game 2001, we played the national championship in the final, and I got scholarship. I went back home after the game. We lost that final in 2001, and I went back to the college, and my coach called me. His name is Mike Pantaleone. He had the winningest record also for college soccer in America, a 92% winning clip. And that's why I just go as hard as I just go to. Let's look at him, and how he went about doing his job on a daily basis there. But anyway, he come up to his office and he say, "Hey, you have a ticket to go out to South Carolina, Charleston Battery. They wanna offer you a contract, contract to play in the USL. The coaches was out there and they were very impressed and whatever. Anyway, it was long and short of the matter. I went down there. It went well. I spoke to my dad about the opportunity. He wasn't feeling all of that. You understand? And it so do happen that I ended up listening to my father instead of trying to pursue it. And I went back to school next year with a national championship. I was the top scorer for the team in the region, all tournament, all that good stuff. Scored the final, scored the semi-final, and ended up putting myself in a position to get my associate degree, bachelor degree, and master's degree. But my final year of college, I'm thinking, all right, I'll play one more year of college, and then one of my boys who was playing with me at Yavapai, his name is Alan Gordon. He was at that time at Portland Timbers, and he was telling me the Portland Timbers coach had an iron man. They were just waiting for me to finish my college career, and then I'm gonna come over and play with the Timbers at that time. It was in the USL at that time. Anyway, brother, playing a Sunday morning match in Scottsdale, Arizona. Blew out my MCL, ACL, LCL. Everything gone. Everything gone. Tear my knee up. And that was the end of my playing career. And that's where I pursued coaching. I started coaching at the university level as a graduate assistant coach at Grand Canyon University. I started coaching club soccer, and I realized that was my calling.
How old were you in that happened?
I was 23, 24. Yeah.
Wait. All right.
23, 24.
Yep. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, so I blew my knee up, and once I blew my knee up, brother, and I realized I lose half a step, I was no longer a speed merchant. I pressing X and it's going nowhere.
Yeah. ACL will kill you with speed. If you lost your speed, you will lose your speed.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm grounding it all, boss. Like, going nowhere.
You're sounding like R9, but... Yeah, I say you're sounding like R9. There's an R9 story here, but...
Yeah, brother, but at the end of the day, I started coaching. Once I started coaching at the club level, the youth level, and as an assistant coach at the college level, the coach, that's when I realized how we just do coaching back home different to how there's do coaching here and on a professional level, because what I realized was the head coach, he never used to train the team. He gave the assistant coaches the reins to train the team, put them through the paces, carry out what he want done, and he's a man just sitting and observing and picking the teams on game day, coming up with tactics based on who you're playing, and the players you need to fit in based on what you need for that particular game. And that's why I really started to find little nuances and enjoy coaching. There are little nuances in coaching that I think we miss in Trinidad.
Okay, so you're saying that was something you see up here versus in Trinidad. So in Trinidad, the coach used to be doing like running the practice something and all that.
Running everything. And
so we go jump back to that. But so do you follow like European football and things like that? Like he's a big football fan too. Or?
Yes, sir.
So who's your team? You have a team?
With the team, I have a player. I have no team. I wouldn't lie. The last time I really follow a team with all my heart was 1999 Manchester United. After that, I go to front. I was a bandwagon guy. When I go in line.
That's no shit, though.
I wagga this.
Shit, just jump on the bandwagon. We just drive it through. You understand?
Yeah, man. It had a point in time.
Who's the player?
My player, well, I love Messi, brother. I love Lionel Messi,
I love Messi.
And don't get me wrong, the argument with Messi and Ronaldo, you can't really go wrong. You can't. If a man come to me and tell me, hey, Ronaldo better than Messi, it just at a point in time I want to fight men for that.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's a man like that. It's a man like that.
Yeah, it's a man like that. But if you really sit down and you put stat for stat and accomplishment for accomplishment, it just come down to styles,
Yeah.
It just come down to styles. But in terms of effectiveness and efficiency, it really have no difference between them fellas, I have no difference between them fellas. But Messi's magic. It's a genius in Messi that I prefer. I prefer Messi.
Did you see the free kick this weekend?
No, I didn't see the free kick this weekend,
Man score kind of free kick this weekend.
The defender almost killed himself. The
defender
kind of block it.
String up himself on the post, all kind of.
Go. Jepness business.
Yeah.
All up with the Jepness.
So I asked that because I'm trying to see, okay, so as a coach, so you coach at high school and junior high level, right?
College, club, and high school level, yeah.
Okay. So you coach at that level, and then you already touch on, the difference between head coach up here. You started seeing, the assistant coach and anything like that. So how much do you think a coach impacts results in games versus players? So I guess I'm going to ask that question a little different. So is it more important to have the best players or the best coach, if you was to say on the two extremes?
But that's a difficult question.
I know. I'm trying to post it because we argued it.
I'm going to put something at you here. I'm going to shoot something at you here. At the end of the day, players have to buy into what coach selling.
Mm-hmm.
Players have to buy into what coach selling. It don't matter how qualified a coach is or how much X's and O's that If players don't believe what coach selling, or they willing to run through a wall for a coach, it don't matter what he know.
Mm-hmm.
Yet at the same point in time, there's a player sport. You understand? There's a player sport. And sometimes the very best players could make up for the deficiencies of a coach.
Sure.
Now, let me give you an example. Jose Mourinho win the Champions League back in the day with Porto.
Hold on.
Nah, listen to him, man.
I just want to warn him that these guys, they're passionate about the Jose, right?
Nah. I like yourself.
Yeah. No. Jose Mourinho, he won a Champions League with a team in Porto that had one superstar who went on to Deco.
Yeah, that was Deco, yeah.
Deco, one team. That was in Trinidad, we call that a blue-collar team.
Mm-hmm.
A blue-collar team.
Yeah.
A team of laborers
And
with
one
man who has a little bit of genius. You understand? And because
Laborers, yeah?
yeah, that team.
Hey, what is laborers? It's in concrete and total.
Wait, he lied?
Oh, so you know what laborers are skilled worker, you know, though.
But he lied?
Well, I preface it with blue collar. I preface it with blue collar workers.
You ain't tell no lies, so keep going.
Yeah, the man is lying. Everything the man say correct so far.
I just want to make sure I make it out.
Yeah, and that team buy into everything Mourinho was selling to them, and they win everything. You know, now moving forward now, if you look at the teams that Mourinho has had after that, you know, they've had success because the man is a philosopher. He's a mental monster. You know, he's a mental monster. If you look at, like, take for instance, that team that he had in Madrid, that team was stacked. Higuain, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
All them dude, the German dude, the little German dude who went to Arsenal.
It had Ozil.
Yeah.
All them dudes and them. You know,
Yeah,
and
Benzema. Did have Benzema? I remember.
Benzema wasn't there. Benzema was a puppy. You're still a puppy.
You wasn't getting much play. You wasn't getting much play. But
yeah, you was a puppy. Yeah. But that team on any other generation or any other time frame, because they had superstars, they would have clean house against anybody. But because of one genius on the other side of the fence, Lionel Messi, Xavi, Iniesta. You understand? And where the game was at. The game is a cyclical kind of thing, you know, just go around, you know. One era, aesthetic football. Put the ball on the ground, aesthetic. Move it with speed. Move from point A to point B. Another era, Mourinho come and change that era into a counter-attacking era. You can have success playing counter-attack. You don't have to play all this imaginary fantasy football. You understand? So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is why you sell your players, but sometimes if the players could win without the coach. Yeah. Because let me tell you something, Pep Guardiola never win a Champions League again without Messi, you know. All right. Think on that.
You had something to show you, Marcus?
Yeah, well. Yeah, man. I would just say MJ already
This man is
Thanos, boy.
This man is Thanos for real.
He's Thanos.
Every finger.
Completely balanced.
And I'm giving away too. I might send some, strip some for you.
Yeah. That's what you talking about. And now I show you.
Man.
Yeah.
So
There's no question though. You're mini body boy.
Sorry, my bad.
Nah, it's back and I like trying to start up here, you know.
Just no. Well, let me ask my question first.
But slowly and surely, now you had an angle in there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
In all that you mentioned with your career and all them kind of madness, right? I ask my uncle this because sometimes, despite all the achievements that we make, there's always be one moment, you know, that. And I'm not talking about like your ACL was devastating because I feel it bothered me just hearing about that. But I'm talking about one moment in a game or in an event that you know you wish you could do over. What that could be?
Why? The one moment I wish I could do over, in all honesty, let me put on these rocks here. Give me 1 second.
Heavy, but
Oh,
heavy
it
to
is
carry them thing, but.
That's a real good question, boy, Zwadi. You know, one, I hate saying this because men could co-send me. I had a breakaway in the last minute against the national championship game. We were playing a school called Branton Stratton from Syracuse, Jersey, and well, me and the keeper 1-on-1 last minute of the game to tie the game to send it to overtime, and I hit it out of the oval, boy. I hit it over the boundary. Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm still thinking.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No, nah, so watch man. If there's any, I don't know if it's a consolation, but I've noticed when I watch interviews with players who are winners or real good players and things like that, they always tend to be real sour about real small things, though. Like I'm talking about. So if you ever watch an interview with Stevie G, Stevie G is a man. You will ask him a question now about the Champions League, a comeback in Istanbul, wherever. He barely smiling. But then they talked to him about the slip. You talked to him about the slip, and the man
saw,
That's all he's thinking about. Yeah. And I see that plenty.
Yeah, and that's why I had to ask that question, because I mean, despite what, there will always be one moment that you say, hey, boy, you know, you always remember them kind of moments in truth.
Right, yeah.
But I think it's the character of a winner. The character of a winner to hold on to.
Yeah, because I mean, the perfection that you're striving for. So, our next question now, in terms of, now this was a kind of passionate debate that we had going on a while now, right? Oh,
Who?
Right.
Go ahead.
Bring me in, man. Talk to me.
Yeah, well, now we are bringing it in yet, but we segueing into it, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is necessary? All right, is it a given that a great player will become a great coach or even a good coach?
Is it?
A given.
Is it 100% certain that a great player?
I'm not saying 100% certain. I'm not saying 100% certain. What I'm saying is it all right? Is your likelihood of being a good coach increased by you being a good player?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Why not?
Because at the end of the day, it has certain muscle memory that you have as a player with your foot, your hand, your chest that cannot be communicated to players. You have to communicate here and here. You know, it has certain things that Maradona could do in a practice session that other coaches can't do. Period, and vice versa. You know, so you know, I think we could go down a list of players throughout the history of the game that were legendary players who were not great coaches, you know.
Maradona,
but my boy Maradona, you know, he laid eggs all over the place. You understand?
and then the one as you talking, I was thinking about Alan Shearer, the next one.
Alan Shearer, yeah. There's a lot of players. Look this guy, the Chelsea legend who get throat bust last week.
Lampard.
That was us last week, man.
Yeah, so you know, look. Again, I go back to Mourinho, and Mourinho is not my end all be all, but I have an affinity towards him because he scrap and he scrape. He scrap and he scrape, and he blaze a trail for himself. Mourinho was a no player, a Mickey Mouse player. You know, he come up under Bobby Robson, learn the trade, adapt to
a translator.
Yeah. Learn to speak multiple languages, and he become a monster in the game, a monster coach in the game. And he was no player. He was not no player. You know, Guardiola was a what we call a functional player, but he was no superstar player. And look, he's a monster coach. You know, so Jurgen Klopp, all these guys,
Yeah.
Garbage player.
Garbage.
Club wasn't garbage.
He called himself.
He described himself as a garbage player.
Club
Man,
called
an
himself
average player.
garbage.
All right. If he called himself garbage,
I
I
use
guess.
any man words.
He called himself garbage.
But let me ask so Marcus, I was gonna say, boy. So as
Like
a
when
coach,
he getting old.
if the two ends of the spectrum, if the two ends of the spectrum is you have a coach who is a philosophy man, and then you have a coach who is we had to win matches. What end of the spectrum you on more as a coach?
Well, it depends on like you just said. You just said if your philosophy is to win at any cost. At any cost.
Yeah, that's the catch there.
You don't have time for philosophy because you don't have time to plant a philosophy and to water it. You know, that's why a guy like Mourinho will be in and out of jobs because he goes into to jobs to win immediately. And sometimes when you go in with that type of attitude, it have a burnout, you know. It have a burnout. Yeah. Players just burn out, coaches just burn out. So the longevity that you'll see a man like Mourinho in on a specific job, it ain't going to be 5-10 years, 2-3 years max out the door. And you're going to win some trophies, though. You're going to win some trophies. So, you know.
Not Spurs, though.
That's that way you say. If you don't win the Spurs this year, I ain't no winning happen.
Right. So, certain clubs have philosophies with academies, places like in Holland, places like Feyenoord, Ajax, Rotterdam. These places, they develop players from a young age up.
Yeah, them are boot camp.
Yeah, they have philosophies. Barcelona have philosophies. Have a philosophy, the Johan Cruyff philosophy. So if you're looking to win immediately, I would say philosophy comes in at a distant second to winning, to results.
Yeah, but you as a serial winner, you just show me 15,000 rings or whatever that was there. So are you a philosophy man, or you kind of,
well,
it depends on the opponent and something? Like, how does that work?
Well, we talking here Trinis as boys and all that, but the reality is, brother, you know, I just always see the levels to this, eh? You know, as a humble fella, at the core of the matter, it has levels to this. This is where I coach at is at the high school level. And the reality is, I get to see these kids on a day-to-day basis. So apart from the soccer field, they know my personality. I rub it off on them in the classroom, outside of the classroom, in the park, outside the park, with the parents, backyard party. So my philosophy and my life, my players have a naturally built-in, just naturally built-in philosophy of who I am, what I stand for, and how I go about doing certain things. So it has to be, philosophy at the high school level is important because soccer is just a microcosm of life. It's a microcosm. Certain things you could pass on to a youth through the game of soccer that could be very indicative of the type of character they are, or they will develop into being 15, 20 years down the road. Like let me tell you something, I just do before every tryout, people that get sent home in the first 5 minutes. And people that the coach are so cutthroat, are so brutal. I will put 4 cones down, Zwade. I put 4 cones down. Around the edge of the field, the circumference of the field. And they have 50, 60 people out there. And I will place my assistants. And I'll say, anybody, I'll make sure and tell these kids and them, I want you guys to run around the circumference the outside of these codes for the next 8 minutes on the outside. And anybody who infringes, they're going home. And everybody gonna start off good, 2-3 laps, and then people gonna start to get short breath.
Right.
And then
Right.
the cone right here, brother. The cone right here. All you have to do is go around the edge. Right? Some people go run on the inside.
All right, take a little step, yeah.
And that is indicative of people
Character.
who taking shortcuts.
Yeah.
When things get a little difficult and you have to huff and puff a little bit, you got to take shortcuts. And these are little philosophies I try to implant from jump. And kids will come back the next year and they understand that lesson is learned.
Learning take place.
That's something they carry with them for a whole year. And that might be a stud player. That might be a stud player I lose out on.
So let me ask this question, right?